You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hey there, welcome to episode 303 of the Rusted Robot Podcast for Sunday, August the 9th, 2020.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Hello, I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations.
I am Locutus of Borg. Resistance is futile.
You're like a machine underneath, right? But sort of alive outside?
I'm a cybernetic organism, living tissue over a metal endoskeleton.
You're not quite, human, are you? No, sir. I'm an android.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Counterfeit, facsimile, replica.
We need some sort of robot. Ah, crap! I'm some sort of robot.
What are your prime directives?
Serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law.
By your command.
Hey everybody, it's your hosts Shawn and
Josh.
And we're here to entertain the pants off of you guys. Are you ready, Josh? Are you ready to entertain them?
Not to the point where they remove their pants.
Well, we can't see.
Yeah, I'm not ready to get them that excited.
Okay, well, maybe it won't be that exciting of a show. It remains to be seen.
Yeah, well, not that exciting.
Okay, all right, fair enough. That's good with me too. Okay, so actually, we're recording...
Recording the 6th.
We're recording August 6th.
Yes.
It's the Thursday.
Yes.
Yes, so this comes out 3 days from now. So if there's any major news or events that happen in the world and we don't talk about it, it's because we don't know yet, and we just can't foretell the future.
Yet.
Not yet.
Working on that time machine.
We are definitely
We'll be ready last year.
That's exactly right. Can't wait for that. We're sitting down in your basement, recording in a different area, so the sound dynamics might be a little bit different.
Well, normally during the day I send the kids off to their rooms to play quietly, but they've been playing alone all day, so I let them have the TV in the living room.
Which makes sense.
So we're down here.
We've been banished to the basement instead. It's the evening. It's about 7:30, Thursday, like we said. The big news of the day of the week is that Star Trek Lower Decks premieres tonight at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to watch this after I leave you, Josh, and I'm going to insert a review of the show probably right here.
Black alert. Black alert.
Hey, Rusted Robot listeners, we interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin of a segment that we just talked about. It's me, it's Shawn. I have watched Star Trek Lower Decks. It's been a couple days. It's Sunday now. I only watched it on Thursday. Haven't had a chance to watch it again, but I've been thinking about it ever since. And I think I enjoyed it. I think I liked it. They definitely are outside the box of regular Star Trek. One thing I can tell you is that the opening crawl, the credits, all that stuff, it's very Next Generation style. Feels like it's 1987 all over again. The uniforms, I don't understand. It's supposed to take place the year after Nemesis, and as we know, in the Nemesis timeline, we've got those gray uniforms, but they're wearing uniforms that kind of look like Season 7 of Next Generation, but they have a weird zip front kind of thing, a la the classic movies. So the uniforms, weird, but as we know, you can have different kinds of uniforms. In Discovery, we had the blue jumpsuits as well as the classic style uniforms. So maybe it's a different type of mission, different kind of ship, different kind of uniforms. Hard to say. Maybe they'll explain it. Maybe they won't. The humor, it's a little bit juvenile. It's very cartoony, of course. The first episode was a zombie type episode. It's not the Star Trek that we're used to, but maybe it's the Star Trek we need. It's definitely going to appeal to children, maybe not young kids, but teenagers, that kind of thing. I'm going to keep watching it. It's the animation is awesome. The humor is fun. It's very light. It's supposed to be canon, of course. I just read an article about the Romulan whiskey and the pronunciation, and they got the people who created the Romulan language for Star Trek Picard to come up with names and so on for the Romulan whiskey stuff. So they're definitely following canon. They're trying to make it fit into the flow of the universe. Of course, it takes place 20 years before Picard takes place. But it's okay. I think you'll like it. Will Josh like it? I don't know. That's hard to say. But definitely give it a go. Give it the 3 episodes. It's only 10, so watch the whole thing maybe. It's only half an hour. Yeah, I'll have to watch the episode again, but right now I have a podcast to edit, so I will return you to your regularly scheduled episode. And it's going to be very exciting.
Okay.
And I can't wait. And
when do you plan to record the review? Right after?
No.
Or like Saturday?
Probably Sunday when I'm editing the podcast.
Okay, because that'll affect the score.
It will affect the score. So I'll give it 2 or 3 days to percolate in my mind, probably watch it again, maybe once or twice, and go from there.
That's available on what in Canada?
We have that on the CTV Sci-Fi channel at 9 o'clock tonight. Also on Crave, it's been available all day.
Is Crave free or is that a pay?
I think that's a pay thing. It's a subscription-based, what's its name?
Okay.
It's kind of like CBS All Access, only different.
Yeah.
And that's where our American counterparts can watch it. And so they probably already have by this point. But I don't have Crave or CBS All Access. So I have to wait till live TV at 9 o'clock tonight. Are you going to check it out?
I will give it a look. I'll give it its 3, but
You don't hold much hope for it?
No.
It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be less serious. It's animated, so we'll have to.
We'll see. But to me, it looks crass. And I got no problems with crass. I enjoy crass humor.
Right, but you don't like it in your Star Trek?
I don't like it in my Star Trek.
I can understand that. So I'm going to watch all 10 episodes no matter what, even if I hate it, because it's Star Trek and I have to be a completist when it comes to my Star Trek TV watching. Although I don't know if I've watched all of the animated 70s show.
I watched all of it.
I own it, and I've gone through most of it. I'm just not 100% sure I've seen every single one.
Yeah, I've watched all of it. It's not good.
No, it's not. It's not, but it has a certain charm.
It does.
And I'm hoping Lower Decks also does.
Yeah.
And listeners, by the review that I inserted previously, you know what I think about it. So you have more knowledge right now than I do.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes.
As I'm recording.
Yes.
Yes.
So, not as of they're listening, because as of they're listening...
I've already recorded and
you've
watched
already recorded, so yes.
Mind blown, Josh. Mind blown.
It's all a matter of perspective.
It is. I like that. Okay, so it's time to get into our favorite part of the show after our initial rambling thing, the celebrity deaths of the week. And, of course, the one that I have for this week was actually posted immediately after I posted last week's episode. And it actually happened last Saturday. We lost Wilford Brimley. You know who that is?
I know who that is.
That's Mr. Diabetes.
Diabetes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he likes his Quaker Oats. And he was in Cocoon.
Yeah.
And he's got over 70 acting credits.
Oh, yeah,
he's been active since the 70s.
Yeah.
So he died at the age of 85 after a long illness in the hospital.
85 is a not bad run.
That's not too bad. But we're definitely losing all the old timers.
Well, yes, that's...
It happens, of course.
Yeah, because they were established actors by the time we were children.
Well, that's right. And he's always been old.
Yeah.
And he's always reminded me of Crosby from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. David Crosby kind of looks like him a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but it could be his brother or cousin.
Okay.
It's just that's just my observation of the day. And what else have I got to tell you about him? He started out as mostly a TV actor, landing one-time roles on TV series like How the West Was Won, Kung Fu, The Dragon Trail, and then eventually a recurring part on The Waltons. And he went and starred in a bunch of TV movies such as The Wild Wild West Revisited, Amber Waves, Roughnecks, Rodeo Girl, and The Big Black Pill, and so on. So I think pretty much most people of our generation may not know his TV stuff, but they know him from the Diabetes and the Quaker Oats commercials and various other things.
Yeah.
He was on TV a lot.
He's been in a lot of things.
Yes, he definitely has. So a rep for Wilford tells TMZ one of his favorite quotes was from a sign at a blacksmith shop, and it read, "There is nothing made, sold, or done that can't be made, sold, or done cheaper. If price is your only concern, please do business with my competitor." And he's survived by his wife, Beverly, and 3 children.
Well, that is unfortunate for their family.
It is.
And, but he had a good career and he had a good run. 85 is not bad.
85 is not bad at all. That's very true.
So.
But that's the only celebrity death that I've come across. So it was a small one this time, which is nice.
Yeah. Your poison supply is running low?
Yeah, I haven't gone to the hardware store in a while. So,
okay.
Yeah, because gotta kill off those old celebrities so that we have stuff to talk about on the show, right?
Sure. You can do young celebrities too.
That's a good idea.
Bieber.
Yes,
he's a Canadian one. We can shoehorn him in. Canadian celebrity.
I think you might be onto something.
Sure.
That's true. Okay, so let's talk about other things in pop culture besides dead people.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, you want to talk about some dead TV show revivals?
Okay.
Because that seems like a fitting transition, I think.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay. Now, did you ever watch Who's the Boss?
I watched some of it when I was young, when it was still on the air.
Okay. Well, according to JoeBlow.com, Tony Danza and Alyssa Milano are returning for a Who's the Boss sequel series.
Who asked?
That I don't know. But
besides the two of them, who asked?
Yeah, nobody. So, according to the article, just in case you thought the whole TV revival business was done with, Deadline has reported that Who's the Boss, the beloved 80s sitcom, will be making a return with Tony and Alyssa on board to reprise their roles of Tony and Samantha Micelli. As someone who hasn't seen a single episode of Who's the Boss, I can't say whether or not its return is something people will be excited about, but here you are. So whoever wrote this article has never seen it. It says the sequel series will take place 30 years after the events of the original and will be centered around former Major League Baseball player, retired housekeeper Tony Micelli, and his relationship with his daughter Samantha. She is now a single mother living in the house the original series was set in. In line with Norman Lear's classic shows, the new comedy will explore generational differences as well as opposing worldviews and parenting styles within the dynamic of a modern family in 2020. And apparently both Judith Light, who played Angela, and Danny Pintaro, who played Jonathan, are said to be supportive of the Who's the Boss sequel series, and it's hoped that there will be a way to work their characters into the show. And of course, the grandmother, Katherine Hellman, who played Mona, passed away last year. That's all we know so far.
Okay, so it ran for what? 8 seasons?
Probably somewhere around there.
Back in the mid-'80s, so ending sometime in the early 90s, which gives you your 30-year window.
Well, I will tell you right now. I will look this up on Who's the Boss, and it ran from 84 to 92.
Yeah, 8 seasons.
Had 196 episodes.
Alright, so who's calling for this show? Because, it's heyday fans, the people that were, really into it, probably picked it up second season, third season. So you're looking 86, 87, right?
Sounds about right.
So there can't be that many heyday fans clamoring for this show to come back. I have not heard Who's the Boss in a sentence pertaining to TV shows in 5 years?
At least.
And that was because I watched an episode of Family Guy.
And they referenced it?
They referenced it on that.
Oh, okay.
And, that's it. I have not heard it since then from anybody. I don't think... I can ask almost everybody at work, hey, you know Who's the Boss, that TV show? And a few people go, oh, yeah, I remember that show. But that's it. That's all the excitement we're going to get for that show.
Well, it was one of the big ones in the 80s, the family dynamics. We had Who's the Boss, we had Growing Pains, we had Family Ties. You can throw different strokes in there.
Yeah.
Probably the
Full
Wonder
House.
Years, Full House, yeah.
Family Matters. There's a lot of the shows.
There's a lot.
None of them need to be rebooted.
They already rebooted Full House.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, most people I know couldn't watch it.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And particularly people are like, oh, I used to love Full House. Yeah, it's not the same.
And you were 30 years younger also, so
yeah.
You've changed.
That was also the 80s/90s, and that had a whole different, gay jokes were acceptable.
Yeah.
And even some racist stuff was let in.
Yeah, people were pretty horrible back then.
And, stereotypes aplenty everywhere.
All over the place. That would definitely not fly these days.
Yeah. And, weird story arcs where, the children were just left alone.
They were always left alone. They were either going missing, finding drugs, almost getting kidnapped. A very special episode.
Yeah, so
So
I don't think we need a reboot. Most of these shows we can just let go. And so which one? What's the one with Michael J. Fox?
That's Family Ties.
Family Ties. Okay. See, I don't even remember the title of half of them. Right. So Family Ties would not work these days. You do the same thing. Oh, liberal parents and a conservative kid.
Yeah.
All you're going to get is a screaming fight.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't go today.
Yeah, that's not going to fly today. You can kind of do Family Matters.
I would like...
But not really.
I would like Family Matters to come back. I really like Reginald Val Johnson. He's just like a a cuddly guy, and he always plays cops. And,
Yeah.
And he was in Die Hard, so I have a soft spot for him.
Yes, so, like, Family Matters is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Because, one, most of them were the same, right?
Yeah.
Same dynamic. At least this one had a slightly different dynamic.
Yes.
And approached it from not the assumption that, white character equals normal character.
Right.
Like, we got to see a family, and in some episodes they dealt with things, but in other episodes they just show, like, black people are people too,
Exactly.
Like, they got all the same issues. So that one I can kind of see, but not really. Like, what are we going to do with it? What else is there to say in the Family Matters universe that can't have already been said?
But it's time for a new generation to learn these lessons that we learned 30 years ago.
Write a new show. Write a show that's appropriate for the modern day. They got lots of good sitcoms on. I say that...
Not actually watching any?
Not liking sitcoms for the most part.
I was big into sitcoms, but I haven't been in the last 20, 30 years.
No.
When you're a young kid, an early teenager, it's good.
My parents loved sitcoms. I don't know why.
Still to this day?
I cannot watch them. Like, how popular was, like, Tool Time?
Yeah, that's true. Home Improvement. Yeah, I watched
Home Improvement.
I watched the heck out of that.
That was insanely popular.
Yeah, it was.
Like, my parents never missed an episode, and I'm like, all right, this you've seen 3 episodes, you've seen the entire arc of the show.
True, they're all pretty much the same.
And like, so I don't like sitcoms.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of people who enjoy modern sitcoms. And there are quite a few good ones. Like Modern Family is apparently super good if you like sitcoms.
I watched most of the first season, and then I just didn't care anymore because I was like, this format's old, tired, and played out, and I
yes, that is sitcoms. They are all old, tired, and played out by the time you watch the end of the first season.
Right, so
because it's the same formula over and over again.
I don't think I watch any.
But do we ever need to revisit them?
No.
Do we need to revisit Blossom? Do we need to revisit...
Blossom? I missed Blossom. That was a good show.
Do we need to revisit... because, like, what, Joey had a spin-off show?
Yeah, I don't think it lasted very long.
Well, I don't think it lasted more than 10 minutes, but yeah.
No.
Do we need, like, more Punky Brewster? Do we need to grab some more of that?
I think they're doing it, Punky Brewster.
Oh, dear God, don't do...
I think on the Peacock, actually, if my memory serves me. But
no, you don't...
You know what's not going to get a spin-off sequel, whatever? The Cosby Show. That's definitely not getting a reboot.
No, that's... That one is thoroughly dead.
That's never coming back.
Well, no, we say that.
But
yeah. You never know.
No, that's true.
Because, like, some people we think, oh, no, their career is gone. They are done. They come back from, like, insanity.
Pee Wee Herman came back.
Pee Wee Herman was masturbating in a porn theater.
Right.
It's kind of expected you to do that kind of thing in that location. It's not like he was out in the street. He was in a porn theater.
Which makes sense, and retrospectively, it shouldn't have...
It's not a big issue.
No.
It's not drug them and take advantage while they're asleep. It's not Roman Polanski.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's not even Eddie Murphy.
What did Eddie Murphy do?
He had sex with a transvestite, or trans... We may need to edit this section.
In a car?
Yes.
Wasn't that Hugh Grant?
No.
Was Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy.
Oh, okay.
But he had also been making inappropriate jokes.
Right.
Like, just beforehand.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And then, like, he got caught, and there was a whole issue. Right? So, like, come on. And they still got a career, and what, Mel Gibson?
Oh, yeah, well, he's kind of got a career after his anti-Semitic
he's coming back.
He's in
Louis C.K. is still playing at theaters.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's still pulling in crowds.
I thought he was done.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
But no, he's still pulling in crowds.
I did not know that.
So, like, some people, like, it's just like, how are you crawling your way back? But you gotta remember, all you really need is a few million people, and that gets you a viable career for life.
That is true.
Right? If you get a few million diehard fans.
Yeah, people who will follow you no matter what.
Yeah. And there's what? 330 million in the United States?
I think it's up to 350.
Somewhere in that neighborhood?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That number's dropping down with the corona.
Right.
But, so there's more than enough people that either don't know, don't care, or think it's funny.
True.
And, like, enough to sell out
a theater.
Yeah. He can keep making money.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
He may never get back up to the big leagues.
Or be back on TV or anything.
Polanski's been in the big leagues the entire time.
Yeah.
He flew off to Europe and...
made movies over there.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Hollywood praises him. And so, you know...
Woody Allen.
Who knows? Mm-hmm. If Cosby lives another 20 years, sells off his characters, by then people will just remember the fondness of the show.
Right.
Because, you know, people and the Gen Xers, right, they'll be like, wow, you know, but the Cosby Show was good. The Cosby Show was a thing. Because you can't trust a Gen Xer, right, Shawn?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, don't trust my generation.
But yeah, so like, that's quite possible. Unfortunately, because people have short memories.
Yeah, they do. They certainly do. So the question remains: are you going to check out the Who's the Boss sequel series?
No, I'm not going to watch Who's the Boss sequel series. We don't need. The idea is literally people who used to watch it going, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if?" And we have millions of dollars to throw at the problem.
Well, it's like when they rebooted Roseanne. And then she became a raving lunatic, and they rebooted that to the Connors. Yeah. And that's doing quite well.
I don't know, I haven't seen it.
I watched some of it, and it was fine, but I was like, I don't care.
I didn't like the original Roseanne show anyways.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think I liked it either, but I watched it.
Well, 7 channels? And
yeah, there wasn't much back on the TV in the day.
And you watched it because one of your parents watched it?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the way it ran with my house.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get to watch anything when my parents wanted to watch something. That's it. That's what we got.
Because we had one TV.
Yeah.
And it was 21 inches if we were lucky, and it was a tube TV, and it was heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was no channels.
Everybody in this house, there's enough TVs in this house for everybody to have a TV and watch their own show.
Okay.
And we have tablets and laptops and
cell phones.
Like, everybody in this family can have 3 screens going.
At the same time. Right. That's progress.
So, yeah. But we don't have cable, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
But 2 people can watch Netflix and 2 people can watch Disney+.
Oh, there you go.
So, you know, everybody can watch something. Unless you want to watch something on Netflix and you're not in the next one. You jumped on late.
Right, exactly. So, there's that.
Yeah.
Now, before we talk more about Netflix, let's play a promo for another podcast here on the ESO Network. This week, we're featuring the Double Edge Double Bill podcast.
Welcome to the Double Feature Picture Show. What do you want to see?
Well, I want to see something really good and something really bad.
Like maybe Total Recall and Junior?
Sure.
Or The Rocketeer and Country Bears?
Absolutely.
Maybe even Dogma and Yoga Hoses?
I mean, of course. Who programs such cinematic excellence and hot garbage together?
Why, only the Double Edge Double Bill, my good man. Available on the ESO Network and wherever you get podcasts.
And Josh, wasn't that a great promo for a podcast here on the ESO Network?
I'm going to say yes, because I haven't heard this one.
Oh, well, you're in for quite a treat.
Yeah.
Yes. So when
I'm just going to assume yes,
because,
I don't think I've heard a bad promo.
There are no...
No, there is one. There's one bad promo. It's for this one called the Rusted Robot Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Their voices are super annoying. You don't want to listen to that one.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. And most people aren't, so it's working quite well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, but if you had listened to this week's episode of the Soul Forge podcast, I played the promo for Double Edge Double Bill.
I don't listen to the Soul Forge.
What?
I don't...
even though you've been on it.
Yes, even though I've been on it. The Soul Forge is a friend's conversation when you're talking to a different friend.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I just like having friend conversations with you.
Okay. That's fair enough.
So, that's the I leave that alone. Particularly early Soul Forge.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna...
That's a good idea.
I listened to like half of episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, these are Lonely Shawn episodes.
Yes.
By themselves on their own. I'm just gonna put that off to the side.
That's why I created a whole other podcast.
Exactly.
Actually, this week, I spoke to my brother Robin about his attempt to become a life coach.
Okay. How's that going?
Well, as we're recording this right now, he is taking class number 4 of 12. I guess we'll know in a couple months how it all pans out.
Okay, this potential edit point. How is he being a life coach if he doesn't have his life together?
That's all part of the podcast, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because...
Like, I don't want to doubt him, but...
He does not have his life together. No, he does not.
He dug quite the hole, and...
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't have to edit that out. He knows he doesn't have his life together.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not...
I don't want to say it in an insulting way.
No, he knows. And it's not a surprise to anybody.
Okay.
So, episode 164, I think that is.
164 already?
Yeah.
Jeez.
We just had our 3-year anniversary 2 weeks ago, I think.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot. 2 podcasts a week for the last 3 years, and this one for the last 6.5. It's a lot.
All right.
But anyway, speaking of cool things, let me go back to our Facebook page app, because that is the most important thing that our listeners should be following, if they're not following us on Twitter or the YouTube channel.
I'd go YouTube channel.
Because all of our episodes are on there.
That and Twitter's a nightmare.
And I haven't used Twitter.
It's just people screaming at each other.
Yes.
And Facebook is just old people having conspiracy theories. Katie's pretty much abandoned Facebook. She hasn't really used it for anything other than work.
Yeah, I haven't seen her on there very much.
Too many people yelling at her. People she thought was, semi-intelligent.
Turns out they're not.
Saying, like, insane conspiracy things like, oh, they're Bill Gates is trying to put a computer chip so that it'll control your brain. And I was like, he's got mind-machine interface? Give me.
Right.
I want to be able to control my computer with my brain.
Exactly. So before the whole promo spiel, we were talking about Netflix.
Yes.
And I finished season 5 of She-Ra.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're doing any more seasons, but they wrapped it up quite nicely.
Okay.
Have you watched it?
I have not.
Ah, okay.
Katie has.
That's what I thought. Okay, I knew somebody here had.
I wasn't a big fan of the original show. Like, I
didn't watch it either.
Right, but I was definitely a He-Man guy, so I watched some She-Ra.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't a huge fan, and I wasn't going to get into a spin-off show.
No, I understand. But I like watching cartoons or something in the morning before I go to work.
Oh, that's fine.
So it's half an hour. It's easy to digest. Good enough. So I finished that, and this morning I started watching Raising Dion, which I've been meaning to get to for the last year.
Okay.
And that's not a cartoon, but it's a single mother raising a child who has just discovered he has powers and he can't control them yet, at least in the first episode.
Okay.
It's compelling. The first episode hooked me like within the first 5 minutes.
All right.
So I think it's like 10 or 12 episodes. And did you watch it? I guess not.
No, I haven't watched it.
No. But from the first episode, I do recommend it. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
I can't give you too much more information because I've only seen one.
All right.
Remember last week we talked about Ren and Stimpy? Because they were doing a documentary about the creator and his crazy pervertedness. Well, according to comicbook.com, a Ren and Stimpy reboot is in the works at Comedy Central.
Okay, so one, this is terrible timing for the announcement because let's do a documentary about pointing out all of his faults. Oh, we're doing a reboot. And also, I don't know how well. Again, we're going back to 90s stuff. Mm-hmm. How well does it suit modern takes? Now, Ren and Stimpy will do a bit better because it's demographic.
Yes, I loved that show as a kid.
If they modify its humor for current day humor, your Rick and Morty type stuff, I think it'll do okay. But nobody was clamoring for it again.
Well, there's that. But it says here in the article, it's been 25 years since Ren and Stimpy ended their run on Nickelodeon and Spike TV. Now, Comedy Central will reimagine the series for a new generation. Nickelodeon Animated Studios will develop the project once Viacom CBS hires a creative team. There's no information available on when the series will debut or how many episodes it will run.
Okay, so this is not even, we have an idea for what we want. This is, we're doing this, somebody come up with an idea for it. Because they don't even have a creative team?
Not yet.
This is a pure corporate decision. We're going to reboot this?
Well, that's what it says. The original Ren and Stimpy show debuted on Nickelodeon in 1991, and this announcement is the latest in a trend of Viacom CBS reviving subversive animated comedies from the 90s and early 2000s. The company will also resurrect Beavis and Butthead and Clone High, and ordered the Dariah spin-off series Jody. And Beavis and Butthead and Clone High are both headed to Comedy Central. So I guess they're bringing everything back.
Okay, so Clone High can work, right?
Never saw it.
Clone High is pretty good.
Okay.
Clone High can work because it's not tied to the era. Beavis and Butthead cannot work.
You don't think so?
It is hard tied to the era.
I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I know people love that stuff. And I just, it annoyed me. They were so annoying. I couldn't.
Yeah, but you're what?
In a month, I'll be 44.
So you're 4 years until millennial.
Yeah, because I was born in 76. You're born in 81. You just had your birthday
the
other day. So this is Josh's birthday episode.
Yeah, 5 years more and you become a millennial.
Right.
Like, I'm the first year millennial. You're 5 years from that.
Yeah.
So I can understand where you're not at the height of the Gen X humor.
It drove me crazy.
So I get that. I never particularly found it funny.
Yeah.
But some people did.
Oh, they loved it.
But it is inherently tied to the 90s.
Oh, definitely it is.
That is a super 90s show.
How they'll bring it back, how they'll modernize it, I don't know.
So they're doing a Daria spin-off.
I don't even know what that is. I never heard of it.
So Daria is a spin-off of Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, okay.
Okay. She's a character that appeared in Beavis and Butthead. She was your typical kind of flat, dry-witted feminist character. She was like early 90s feminist, not like
this era?
Modern era.
Yeah.
So she was more like outspoken but not loud.
Okay.
Like more like just stating out. I don't know how to describe it, right?
I think
you know what I mean?
I think so.
So like everything that she was saying was in line, but it's just different in the way she presented. And it was a very dry wit show.
Did you like it? Did you watch it?
I watched a few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like a fan, but I know lots of people that were fans.
Okay.
Because again, that sarcastic dry wit humor was super big.
Oh yeah.
But that still is super big. So that a spin-off of that can do quite well.
I can see that happening.
You just got to do it right.
Well, yeah.
And unfortunately, if this is coming from the
corporates,
rather than somebody who's a real, like, I got a passion for this show and I want to reboot it. Because those are the shows, anytime that's like, oh, I loved X.
And I want to bring it back.
I want to bring it back, and I go to corporate and I beg them, please let me do X.
In the spirit of the original, but with a modern take.
Those do better because it's somebody's passion. It's a real thing.
There's something behind it.
When corporate goes, we're rebooting this. Okay, what are we going to do with it? Oh, that's your problem to figure out. We're rebooting this, though.
But I hated the original, but you hired me and I need a job, so I guess I'll do a half-ass whatever.
Or I'll do my vision of it.
Yeah.
Or I didn't like that Daria was a smart, soft-spoken feminist character who had a dry wit. I'll make her a flamboyant tart.
Yep.
Like, how does that have anything to do with the original? Well, I'm subverting expectations.
There's always,
because you know there's always somebody who's like, oh, I'm gonna twist things just to twist things.
They love that.
They love that. And I was like, okay, but how does that connect to the original? Well, it's dark and gritty, right? That's what everybody wants these days.
It's a dark and gritty reboot.
Yeah. So, no. So, if there's a corporate wanting to reboot it, it's probably going to be cringe.
Yeah.
I think the only corporate reboot that's really worked is My Little Pony.
Yeah, I can see that, because there's so many bronies.
Well, what happened with that is corporate was like, we want to reboot it, and they found somebody who's actually passionate.
You need the passion.
Right. So corporate just lucked in to a passion person.
Yes.
And Lauren Faust ran with it. Now, I know too much about My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Because I watched every episode with my daughter.
Uh-huh.
We did that as a ritual every morning.
Right.
So.
I get it. Yeah.
It's a really good show.
Well, yeah, you can like whatever you want. I've freaking watched She-Ra, so there you go.
Yeah.
And do I feel like a man watching She-Ra? Not really. Do I care? No, it's a cartoon. It entertains me. There's magic, and there's sci-fi stuff, and okay. Good enough.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so I've got a couple different trailers to talk about. Let's talk about STUNTWOMEN first.
I wanted to be respected, and I didn't want to be respected for a girl.
Action!
If I I didn't have amazing stunt women, my movies just wouldn't work.
It was Matrix 2, Doubling Trinity. When they say rolling and action, you just do superhuman things.
This is bigger than just, oh, she's the right size, the wig fits her head.
Back in the very, very beginning, the women were doing these amazing stunts.
They fought so hard for us to get here that now we don't have that luxury of not being able to do something.
Debbie does most of my driving in Fast and Furious.
I thought you do action movies and you get to have all the fun, and then I realized, no, Debbie has all the fun.
These are really gifted, talented people, but there's a certain element of danger.
There's no way to practice a car hit besides getting hit by a car.
This is pretty much what I use. These are all just little loose pads.
I've broken my legs 3 times, my shoulder, my hand, my teeth, my nose.
I was given the opportunity to do a cannon roll. Literally was airborne in a car and then rolled 4 times. I remember I saw the footage and I was like, that's my sister!
You and the car, you're dancing together, and you are dancing with a mechanical beast.
I've been on fire, I don't even know how many times. I got to do a fight scene with Keanu Reeves on John Wick.
Women can be good stunt coordinators. 3, 2, 1, action. We had to dive together, fall, and then catch ourselves on a beam. It's not a girly girl fight, it's a knockdown, drag out fight.
So this is, I wouldn't say it's particularly sci-fi, but it's
of interest.
It's of interest. We love our stunts. It's basically hosted by Michelle Rodrigues, who's big in the genre. Who did she play in Avatar, the helicopter pilot?
I don't remember.
I can't remember the name.
I remember one name from that.
Which one?
Jake Sully. That's it. Nobody else. I don't remember anybody else's name in that movie.
You know what? Me neither, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's only because they say it 1,000 times in that film.
Zoe Saldana played Neytiri, or something like that.
Yeah, so you're not even sure.
No, it was something.
I remember Jake Sully simply because they said it so many times.
Jake Sully.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Yes.
That film, in many ways, is quite forgettable.
It is. But yeah. So,
it's pretty. Yeah, forgettable.
Yes. So anyway, she played the helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
She's been huge in the Fast and Furious thing, which I don't ever watch. I remember first seeing her on Lost. She played a character on that for a few episodes. And she was in something else I like, Machete and Machete Kill.
Yeah.
So I've always liked her. So she's narrating the thing. And it looks like a lot of action and a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff and female power. And it looks like it's going to be great.
So, it's a documentary film kind of thing.
I don't
know if it's like pure documentary, because it looks like documentary plus them doing stunts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of got a mix of documentary and, I don't know, like exemplar?
Yeah, this is what a stunt is.
This is how you do a cool flip in a car, or
we
can slide sideways into a tree, and that's funny. Right?
Yeah.
So okay, it looks like a good documentary. It looks solid.
And it comes out September 22nd. Yay.
Yep.
There's not much of a narrative behind it, so we can't really say much.
Yeah, it was a documentary.
And the trailer tells you everything.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to be a lot of, I think, like we get with any of these maker-type documentaries, it's going to be a lot of cool anecdote stories or highlights of individuals, which is fine.
Yeah.
That provides a lot of information, but, not a lot to get excited about in the trailers.
No, I know I would watch it.
Yeah,
if I came across it.
It will be a definite watch. But
yes.
it's.
I like car crashes.
Yeah,
and I like women.
But
I like women crashing cars because it's cool.
You may want to be careful on that last one.
Why? What part of that is controversial?
There's a whole fetish thing around that. There's a whole movie based on it. Crashing cars for. Never mind.
I don't think I saw it.
What's that movie called?
I don't know.
Hold on, pause this.
Hey, this is Dr. Trek, Larry Nemeczek, and you're listening to The Rusted Robot with Shawn and Josh and the Rust.
So you found it.
Crash. 1996's Crash. Not the other Crash, which has to do with survivors of 9/11.
Right.
Dealing with stress. No, this is the one from 1996 by David Cronenberg, which is about people getting sexually stimulated by car crashes.
Yeah.
That's why I said maybe you should watch what the last part of your sentence.
Right. That's not what I was
women
going
in car crashes might imply things that you don't want people to think about you.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So
really, you didn't? It's a messed up movie. It's a Cronenberg film, so it's a messed up movie.
Yeah, that explains.
But you should watch it.
Okay, I will do that.
It's a weird recommendation. It's a fetish film, kinda. Not really, but kinda.
Yeah. There's car crashes in it, though?
Yes.
Then I might watch it. Because that used to be my favorite part when I was a kid of watching like NASCAR and stuff. I just watched it for the crashes. I didn't even realize that.
How often did you actually see a crash, though?
Often enough back in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. I never even put it together that, oh, that's a person's life that is in danger. It was just excitement.
Cargo boom.
Yeah, pretty much. To my lizard brain, it really liked it. So, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Now that we've gone off on that weird tangent.
That was a weird tangent, Josh.
Okay.
You know what else looks weird? We've got a new show from HBO Max coming. And it's, well, I'll just read it to you here. It says, when director Ridley Scott does anything, we take notice. When he does something sci-fi, we get excited. And when he directs a sci-fi television show we can watch in a few short weeks, we damn near froth at the mouth. Scott is taking the big screen talent to the small screen for the new HBO Max show, Raised by Wolves. The show follows androids who attempt to raise children and restart society on a new planet long after war has destroyed the Earth. There's a lot more to it, but watch the trailer, see for yourself, and be prepared to get super creeped out by the 3 little pigs.
Gather round, children. The Earth was destroyed by a great war. I was programmed to protect you. And now we start again. Does anyone know the story of the 3 little pigs? The first little pig built a house out of straw. The second little pig built a house out of sticks. But the third little pig, he built a house out of stone. One day, a big bad wolf came along and said, little pig, let me in. Or I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
The big bad wolf she was talking about?
Mother?
That's her.
So that's a cool trailer that we just inserted there. And it says Scott directed the first 2 episodes of the series, making his American TV directorial debut. There are 10 episodes in total, and they'll debut on the new streaming service on my birthday, September 3rd. And that's soon. What do you think? We saw the trailer. We just played it here for our listeners. It kind of reminds me of that Netflix show called Mother.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Mother.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't know. We'll see. It looks good. Like, is it a single run? Is it a mini series? What? Like, do we know?
Well, it just says here from the poster. It says new series streaming September 3rd, only on HBO Max. 10 episodes for the first season, so it might be an ongoing thing if they do well enough. And I gotta say that when I first heard of HBO Max, I was totally against it. But they keep talking about all these things that they're bringing to the TV, and I might just have to get it. What do you think?
I can't justify another.
That's the problem. It's
another streaming, and it's a pretty expensive one.
$15 a month, $14.99, and Netflix is already $13.99, and I've also got Amazon Prime. So do I need a third one? I don't know.
So, yeah, I don't know on that Probably not.
Probably not. It sounds like something I'd like to watch.
The show looks like it's probably going to be good.
Yes.
I just don't think I can justify another streaming service.
That's the problem. And I'm not getting rid of Netflix because I've had it for 10 years.
Well, and Netflix drops a lot of good stuff.
Yes, it does.
And I got Netflix and Disney Plus. Disney Plus drops a lot of good stuff.
I've got Netflix and Amazon Prime, so...
Alright, so...
I never watch Amazon Prime, but it's got The Boys. And, and I get my free shipping on my stuff, so...
So,
you know.
I hear their navigation system for getting movies is kind of wonky.
Oh, it sucks.
Okay.
Netflix is way better.
Wow, Netflix is a dedicated system, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so my recent checked out.
Your what?
I got our anime recommendation.
Oh, okay.
Lately, I've been watching 2 different series.
Mm-hmm.
One is Monster Girl Doctor.
Okay.
Okay. It takes place in a fantasy world where there's a human doctor and he treats monster girls.
Right.
There's a Naga that is... No, Naga. Anyways, he's got a snake woman as his assistant. They treat a centaur and a mermaid. And okay, it's a very good, light show.
Okay.
It's very funny. Mm-hmm. So that's a recommendation. I've watched 4 episodes now, so I'm willing to give a recommendation.
What's it called?
Monster Girl Doctor or Monster Musu no Oceana, the Doctor for the Monster Girls.
Okay.
And the other one is The Misfits of Demon King's Academy.
The Misfits of Demon King's Academy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is your typical power, like super-powered main character.
Okay.
It's a pretty good show in that it's good fun, like the main character is super OP. Not as fun as, let's say, One Punch Man, which is a very funny one.
Yes.
This one is just, you get a little that escapism of watching a super powerful character just kick butt.
Okay.
Like he, at one point, I think it's episode 2, he kills this arrogant noble guy. He kills him 50 or 60 times. And he can just bring him back to life. As long as he snaps his fingers within 3 seconds of his death, he can just bring him back over and over and over. It's great.
Okay, so how many of those did you watch?
I only recommend things when I've watched enough episodes to make it worthwhile, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this episode 5 just came out a little while ago. So those are my 2 I've been watching and recommend. The other ones I have not watched enough to say good or bad.
Okay. Totally different topic. Do you remember a few episodes ago where we were talking about changing your name?
Yes.
Okay, well, our good buddy Richard from Australia...
Oh, Richard from Australia!
Yes. Actually, and I think I read this on one of the episodes you weren't on, but he had a suggestion that you change your name to WOPR.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't get the reference either, but apparently it's a reference to something. And he wrote that today in response to last week's episode as well. So I don't know what it's an abbreviation for, but WOPR was his suggestion for your name. And I'm going to look it up here right now. Let's see if it actually means anything that I can find. It looks like it's War Games.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's the computer from War Games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Joshua. Yeah, okay.
All right, that makes more sense.
Yeah. All right, I get it. It is not an immediate reference that I would catch.
No.
Because I never think of it as the initialism. I just think of it as Joshua. So, good, but not something I would probably take.
Yeah,
No.
I was talking to my brother today, actually, about names and how we've never liked our names. Because my name is Shawn, and it's not a very strong name. It's Shawn, like it's not a strong... Like,
at least it's not seen.
No, that's true. But it's not like Kirk or something like that.
With a hard K or T sound.
Yeah. So I was thinking I'm going to change my name to Trent Stone.
Trent Stone.
Yeah. 2 one-syllable names with hard sounds. What do you think?
I don't think you're a Trent.
I don't feel like a Trent.
No.
What about Chuck?
Chuck?
I can't pull off a Chuck, eh?
No.
I'm a Shawn. I know.
No, hold on.
What do you got for me?
Devin.
Ugh, I don't like that.
No, Devin.
Oh, no, that's even worse than Shawn. That doesn't work for me.
No, you don't like that?
No, and I wanted a one-syllable name, too.
Oh, you want one syllable?
One-syllable, hard-sounding name, like Kirk, Trent, Chuck, Something like that. Jack. I don't feel like a Jack, though. But something like that. Maybe our listeners have a suggestion as well. The Rusted Robot at what is our email address? therustedrobot@gmail.com. therustedrobot.podbean.com is our website address.
Yeah, okay, I'll have to think about it.
You'll have to think about it and let me know. Yeah, I'm curious as to your thoughts. I need like a...
Brock.
I could go with Brock. I don't feel like a Brock, but that might work. Okay, so I have one last pop culture news that is actually flooding Facebook right now.
Okay.
And John Wick 5 has been confirmed. And it's going to shoot back-to-back with the fourth movie.
As I said, they haven't done 4 yet.
No. According to this article, it's officially confirmed we'll shoot back-to-back with number 4. Keanu Reeves experienced a career renaissance with the first John Wick movie, and it earned widespread praise. And so right now he's actually filming The Matrix 4, so when he becomes available early next year, they're going to film the next 2. And number 4 is supposed to come out in 2022 sometime.
So Matrix 4, let's deal with that first, because that's what's coming first.
Yes.
Do we need a 4th Matrix? Like, what else is there to say? Unless they deal with the fact that the Matrix, the waking world of the Matrix, isn't the waking world, thus explaining why he was able to do stuff in the waking world.
Yes.
And he realizes that he is in another layer of the Matrix.
Right.
Which would make sense, because it doesn't make sense to use a human as a battery.
No.
But the average person isn't smart enough to realize that it doesn't make sense on an emotional level. We'll just put it like that, because like people are fine. Well, some people are going to wake up. That's fine. Some people will wake up, but we got another layer. Because like if I was designing it, I would have made them medieval peasants.
Yeah,
who have no understanding of machines being thinking, right?
That makes
why put them in the computer age? So the machines aren't actually bad. He finally gets up to finally wake up in the real world, and oh look, they're on a spaceship or something, and they're going between worlds. That's why it's the same people, because you have to use the same consciousnesses because they're passengers in the ship. That would be a cool thing to do. Otherwise, you got nothing. What else are you going to do with it? What story do they have to tell in the Matrix universe that isn't already dealt with? John Wick doing 4 and 5? Really?
Yeah.
Do we? Is there more depth to that story, or is it just more shooty shoot?
More mindless violence and action, which we all love.
Like, I would like to see more in the universe of John Wick. They set up some things that could be good universally.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need to see more John Wick.
No, the first one was excellent. It was like a classic masterpiece. Number 2, not so great. And number 3 was just a lot of violence. Now, I enjoy it, but the first one really is the best.
Well, it had substance to the story.
Yes. Yes, and the rest.
Second one didn't have as much substance to the story. So, like I don't like. I'll probably watch it, right?
Oh, of course.
But I don't know where they're going to go with it. What do they feel is necessary to add to this?
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait. But they're going to film them back to back, much like Back to the Future 2 and 3 as well. So they did those. So it saves on production costs and all that kind of good stuff. And maybe there's more consistent story. I don't know. We'll see.
How did shooting 2 and 3 save them money for Back to the Future?
Because
like shooting 1 and 2 would make sense because it's basically the same sets used again.
Yeah.
But 1's like 2 is way different from 3
because they didn't have to reschedule anybody. They just kept going on, I guess.
Yeah, but maybe a bit on. Well, 2 hasn't come out. They're not super popular yet. We're gonna make it 3. But you're then banking on you're saving money on the extra wages. But
I don't know.
But now you got to build a whole different set of sets. It's not like if you're reusing the same sets, it makes sense. I don't see how they saved money on it.
I don't know either.
To me, it doesn't make sense.
Nope.
Unless they really didn't want the actor to age at all.
That could be.
But like it's movie magic. Relax. Like, if you're going to do that, all 3 should have been shot back to back to back to back.
Except they didn't know that the first one was going to be so popular.
Exactly.
So, let's do 2 and 3 together, or let's do 4 and 5 together, whatever. Yeah, so that's what's going on there.
All right.
So, exciting, I guess.
Well, we'll see. Because, like, they're in pre-production now.
I would imagine.
If they're even in that. So, like, we'll relax. How many movies have been like, oh, we're definitely doing this? Flash. And, yeah, and it's just delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And, oh, look, we got a new writer. Delayed and delayed. Oh, we got a new director. Oh, he doesn't like the writer.
Let's recast these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like...
So it remains to be seen, but that's the plan as of right now, and it's all over Facebook. Anyway, to finish off, I was listening to the Play on Nerds podcast with Stephen German.
Okay.
And I don't know if I've told you, they've branched out. Like, the last episode of the classic Play on Nerds was in January, and so they've been doing Muppet Trek.
Yeah.
They've been doing Real Opposition. They just started Sappy Crap, where they talk about their childhood memories, which they say was kind of inspired by Soulforge, because they talk about all kinds of sappy crap over there too. So anyway, at the end of their episode, which was just released this last week, they did a new episode of the classic Play on Nerds. It had been 8 months since they recorded one. And they gave us a huge shout out at the very end, and I'm going to play that after the end credits.
Oh, that's very nice of them.
Yeah, they actually said in the thing, Shawn, steal this for your podcast. You can take the audio. So I'm definitely going to do that so all our listeners can hear it. We salute Steve and German. They have awesome podcasts. We love them. Other than that, that's it. That's all I know. This episode won't come out for 3 days, so if anything major happens in the world, then we've missed it, but we'll talk about it next week. I don't have an and remember for this week. Do you have one?
And remember, plan ahead.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rusted Robot Podcast. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope you'll tune in again next time. Remember that you can visit therustedrobot.podbean.com for all of our social media links, and don't forget to share the show with everyone you know. The Rusted Robot Podcast is your best source for geek-style pop culture news.
I could do this all day.
Well, first of all, before we go, we want to shout out to some people who are doing some awesome things out in the podcasting land. I am just very sad that I don't ever get the time or find the time to make MP3s to send into these shows I listen to so much, and that they come and Steve and I both listen to.
So, Shawn, feel free to steal the sound from this episode.
Yes.
And use it for your episode as like our endorsement.
Not because we're lazy, but because we're overworked.
I'm lazy.
So first, Shawn Vanderloo, who has his 300th episode of the Rusted Robot Podcast. That's right, the Rusted Robot Podcast had 300 episodes.
What started as a simple podcast where every week they were going to talk about different robots and science fiction has blossomed into a show about everything.
Everything sci-fi and science and crazy
like
stuff.
A show about the Zodiac, I think.
Yeah. But look at that. It's funny because we started our shows around the same time, and we have 136 and he has 300. Yeah. Although we did branch off eventually. But
he only has 3 shows. Okay, never mind.
He had like 4 too at the Sci-Fi Waffle and everything too. But then his other podcast, The Soul Forge, has reached its 3-year anniversary. Another big milestone. And that's a lot of those episodes were just him talking about a topic by himself for like a half an hour. Then he started getting lots of guests.
Life stuff, and there's a great 2 or 3-parter about falling in love and sleeping with a lesbian.
Yeah, you gotta check that
really
out.
Like, that's the one I always recommend to people, is that set, because they're just such a good story.
It's so interesting, and it kind of helped inspire us to do the Sappy Crap podcast a little bit, kind of getting more personal, talk about our backstories and our life and that kind of thing.
We just don't get to BS enough, so it just gives us an excuse.
Very much so. And now on the Rusted Robot Podcast, they have Shawn and Josh and Kitty as co-hosts. Sometimes his brother Robin comes on, so it's changed a lot over the years, but it's really great. And Soul Forge has random guests come on. I've been a guest on there. Steve, you've been a guest on there, I believe.
We talked about moving.
That's right. Soul Forge, check that out. And now our other friend of the show, Daniel Peter Hitch, author and now podcaster, does the Temporal Trek podcast, which is also amazing. And it's covering Star Trek in the strangest way, going chronologically through the entire show, not when they were released, but chronologically by what events happened in the show. So he goes from the Big Bang all the way up to the future, clip by clip, not episode by episode. It's insane. Please check it out. I've guested on one show, and Steve, I hear you're going to be on soon.
I record this coming week. Yeah.
And what are you going to be covering on your show?
We're going to be talking about First Contact, which has some great time travel stuff, and is probably my favorite or second favorite of the Star Trek films.
Yeah, and we covered it on a previous episode of the Play on Nerds. So there you go.
Yeah.
And then both of those guys, Shawn and Daniel Peter Hitch, and longtime friend of the show as well, Paul Wright, have started the Cosmic Pizza podcast. So please check that out. It's a lot of fun. They go really in depth, and they're going to be talking to experts in their fields, authors, comedians, scientists, and they even talk to me. I've already guested on an episode that'll be coming out soon, talking about voiceovers and voice acting. But please forgive me on that episode because my house was flooding that day. And so I barely made it to the podcast. I was like 45 minutes late to the recording. So I apologize to them, but I was all flustered for the recording. So I apologize in advance. But please check out Cosmic Pizza Podcast. It's really cool and really in depth. And Paul does a great job adding in sound effects and music and that kind of thing to that too. So check it out.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.